You're listening to Once, episode 210, Siege Perilous. Welcome back to another episode of Once, the unofficial podcast for ABC's TV show Once Upon a Time. I'm Daniel J. Lewis.
I'm Jeremy Laughlin.
I'm Erin.
And we're happy to have you joining us for this, our full discussion, now that we've done some more research, gathered some of your feedback, rewatched the episode at least a couple times, and we're ready to talk about this. And boy, we've got some great theories going on with all of this. So make sure that you go to oncepodcast.com and subscribe to the podcast if you aren't already. And the show notes for this episode, if you'd like to follow along, will be at oncepodcast.com/210. Let's start off, as we usually do, talking about the past. 6 weeks ago, they're talking about the tree and the mushrooms, or rather the toadstool, yeah, which they discovered could be a thing. And they did put out this idea, which makes me think, okay, when they put out an idea like this, that's the actual truth. And that is that Merlin isn't in the tree. Merlin is the tree.
So burning it to get him out would be a bad idea.
Yes.
Maybe.
Regina clearly, from her days on the island in Lost, learned one very important thing: how to waste an entire sheet of not so common paper to express one thing. That happened a lot on Lost, and here she writes one gigantic question mark to stick in the book.
And apparently it is in her handwriting very clearly. Nobody else writes a question mark quite like that.
Apparently, yes, a gigantic question mark. Which is not in handwriting, but it did serve a purpose later, so I guess maybe she foresaw that somehow.
Emma is looking shockingly good in all of these scenes in the past. It's like they're trying to make her look like the savior that she's not anymore.
Right, it's almost like underlining real savior, fake.
Blonde hair, dressed all in white, looks like an angel. Opposite. Not that you have to have
not
blonde hair
opposite
to be
as
the
she
savior.
used to be. Right. Not as opposite as she used to be.
True.
Because she did go for something a little less evil.
Would you say that it's truth that all of Emma's magic is dark now?
Well,
Regina seems to think so.
Regina is the technical handbook of magic for the show. So when she magic babbles, we're supposed to take that as fact.
I think it might be true too, because she is the dark one, and the nature of the dark one is darkness. So what's going to come out of her is going to be darkness.
But is she the dark one yet? Totally 100%?
Well, is the dark one a status that you achieve, or is it something that is passed on regardless of your ability to wield it? I think it's something that's passed on through the Dark One dagger. So she is the Dark One, but we've referred to it before as not fully the Dark One because she's not embraced the darkness yet. But I think that, yes, her magic is dark because she is the Dark One.
Yeah. I feel like even if there is a steadfast rule that, yes, once you become the Dark One, all magic that comes from you is dark. If there was ever an exception to that rule, it would be Emma, because she was already 100% filled with light magic when she took on that darkness. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. But also look at this, that the only times we've seen her use magic since then, it has been dark magic. And there have been some kind of penalties for it. Or Rumple has been there saying, yes, do it, do it, do it.
Yeah. But she wasn't even trying when she did that stuff. I don't know.
As they do.
As they do.
I'm looking at the wrong section. That was not a transition. As they do. Let's make a transition.
When you don't know what else to say as they do.
A little bit later, after Robin kissed Regina and left the two sisters there to have nice little sister fights, I'm a little disturbed by what seems to me Zelina's motivation here. It seems like she wants this baby for absolutely selfish reasons. It's not she wants someone to love. It's I'll finally have someone to love. No, to love me. Because it's all about me. If I'm Zelina, that's what I would be saying, but in a lighter, more feminine voice.
Yes, this is one of her best scenes ever. Also, I'm just going to refer to her as mute handmaiden from now on.
I like that, and I hope she stays mute. She bugs me. Like she's a really good villain because she's a sociopath, so she's got that going for her. But I love their banter. Like it's so funny to see the sister because I mean I have a sister and
do you take her voice away?
I do not. I bet you she wishes she could take mine sometimes, but she's the older sister. But yeah, no, I am not a fan of Zelina at all. She's a sociopath. She's crazy.
Do you think she deserves a second chance?
Well, a second chance?
Yeah.
A second chance?
I think that when you make an effort to earn a second chance, then perhaps one will be given to you. She is not remorseful. She doesn't regret anything she's done. She's not showing any signs of wanting to change. So what good would another chance be?
She's still selfish completely.
She's still Zelina.
Yeah, it's kind of like in a way she has to earn her second chance to prove that she's worthy of trust and such, which really makes me wonder where are they going to go with her character on the show? Is she simply going to be the side character mute handmaiden or is she going to play a larger part in anything at all, either good or evil?
Well, after Regina's taunting threats, I would say she's got to be pushed to some kind of breaking point. I mean, she's always kind of right there, ready to break. But I think that that's not going to be nothing.
I feel like I kind of just thought of this, but she kind of she does not have any love. And love is what has made people change in this show, either for better or for worse. Like it was Henry that made Emma change her mind and figure out that she really was the savior. It was Henry that made Regina change and want to be good for him. And, you know, it's Belle who has made Rumpel try to change. And I think that Zelina has nothing to motivate her to take that step to want to change. So she may want a second chance, but what for?
Yeah, maybe.
She kind of has no one.
She's so dark.
But maybe the baby will change that.
Nah, because there's another part of the clause that she keeps saying. She wants someone to finally love her and only her.
Yeah.
So what a life. The child will undoubtedly, if this little future she has envisioned were to come to pass, the child would eventually think of nothing but trying to get away.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And we'd have, perhaps a spin-off.
But at the round table, we get to see boys being boys and talking. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Sorry, I am not with it today. I don't know why. I think I'm excited about my new office.
Do you need me to snap my fingers really loudly?
Yes. Okay. I got it now. You should do the sync points from now on. It's a nice, loud, hard snap.
It's my superpower.
I'll just, instead of those clappers that you get from like Hollywood and stuff or apps for your phone, I'll just like cut your fingers off and then use those. Just
whoa, that was okay.
That went dark real fast.
That escalated quickly.
Who's the sociopath?
Okay, let me bring this back on track. I don't know what is wrong with me tonight. Sorry. I'm very sorry about this.
I literally just bumped my head on the ceiling coming in to record.
How tall are you?
I'm in a room that's short.
Oh.
I'm 5'8", but
Hashtag things tall people say.
Okay. There we go. I'm getting back on track. We get to see more of the round table, and it was really neat to see some of the different coat of arms symbols that were on the different chairs.
Like fish?
Yeah.
That was the only one I noticed. I was like, okay, that guy's whole thing is fish. That's great.
Okay, there was that one. There was one that looked like potted plants, but I don't think that's what it actually was. There was another that looked like a hand, and it made me wonder if that was Midas's kingdom, if maybe Midas had someone that was a member of the round table as well.
Maybe. If it were Midas, that table would have gotten an upgrade.
Yeah. Maybe Midas made the Siege Perilous, which is that nice chair that looks like it could be made out of gold.
That nice chair.
But the Siege Perilous is actually from Arthurian legend. And special thanks to Leslie for sending this in. She said, you know what? I don't know if Leslie is a guy or a girl. So
Leslie, nope.
Let me say this way. So special thanks to Leslie for sending this in, saying, in Arthurian legend, the Siege Perilous, also known as the Perilous seat, is a vacant seat at the round table reserved by Merlin. I think that's an important thing to note here. For the knight who would one day be successful in the quest for the Holy Grail and fatal to any other occupant. What could this mean for poor David? That's Leslie's note. Continuing on. It was originally believed that Lancelot as... Okay, let me read that differently. It was originally believed that Lancelot, as the truest Arthur's... It was originally believed that Lancelot, as the truest of Arthur's knights, would be the one to fill the seat, until he was revealed to have committed treason with his affair with Guinevere. The knight who succeeded in obtaining the Holy Grail was Sir Galahad, whom we haven't met yet. Or we may even never get to meet. But what really stood out to me about Leslie's feedback, giving us some more of the Arthurian legend, is Merlin reserved that chair.
Yeah.
Not Arthur. And there are things that are making me think, especially knowing that Arthur is a kind of villain, and we'll dig more into that, but it makes me wonder if maybe Arthur is violating certain rules that Merlin has put into place.
Possibly, except they seem to have redefined the purpose of the seat. I kind of sense that Arthur isn't lying about everything, so I assume that his definition of who sits in the seat is valid for the purposes of the show.
Well, and it does fit with what Leslie pointed out in the Arthurian legend, the truest of Arthur's knights and the one who would go for the Holy Grail. In Once Upon a Time, they said would go for carry out the most sacred of quests. So apparently the Holy Grail and other sacred artifacts, such as maybe a burning twig from the original burning bush that Moses talked to.
So I'm guessing the chair clearly doesn't necessarily kill people that don't fit the criteria for it. Because Lancelot, well, we thought he was dead, but not because of the chair.
There could be some other magic, though, that happens, or that maybe is delayed, kind of like saving Robin's life, and then in Storybrooke, the Fury coming after Robin.
No, the Fury. Also in the scene, I noticed David slipped and said snow, before correcting to Mary Margaret, and there was no eye batted in the room. So I assume they're not trying too hard. They must not be well known in Camelot, even by name.
True.
So I guess there's still no accounting for the fact that he's still calling her Mary Margaret.
Maybe he just likes that name better.
Well, then he is silly and has bad taste in names.
But they do have a good taste in quests to go on. It's this. I really enjoyed seeing the brotherliness of Arthur and David in this. And it's because of that makes it even more disappointing to me to see that Arthur appears to be some kind of villain. Because David needs a buddy.
Yeah.
Hook, not necessarily a buddy. I mean, come on. What dad out there becomes buddy with the guy dating his daughter? None. Okay. Maybe after the courtier and the daughter get married, maybe they become buddy. But still, there's that thing of, I'll kill you if you harm my daughter, sort of thing that always looms over the son that prevents the buddiness.
So some walls, some general threats.
Right. So it's cool to see David having someone that he can really relate with and go on quests together, manly quests and conquest and conquer and all sorts of cool things like that.
Always comes down to the toadstool.
Yeah.
Good thing it wasn't in another castle.
While they're... Go ahead.
I really liked what David said. It was toward the end, but just on this topic, he said, I don't want to only be remembered as the man who kissed a sleeping princess awake 30 years ago. And I just thought that was really interesting because I know that feminism gets on a rant about fairy tales back in the day about, women were powerless. And then Once Upon a Time has done this amazing thing where they, have rewritten the fairy tales and made women powerful, and they get a lot of praise for that. But at the same time, like, his statement is really true. Like, in those fairy tales back in those days, the princes weren't really good for much. Like, all they really did was swoop in and save the day at the end. They did not really have much involvement. And it's like, if you go to a Disney store, you don't buy Barbies with the princes. Like, nobody cares about those ones. Like, they care about the princesses. So it's just, I thought that was a really interesting line. And it's kind of a perspective I haven't thought of very often.
Yeah, that is exactly what we know of Prince Charming. He woke the princess up with a kiss.
And even in this show, like, he hasn't, he, slayed a dragon once, and there's a couple things. But if you ask, like, what's the purpose of this? If somebody asked about the show that had never seen it before, like, Charming's not going to be one of the first 5 or 6 characters that you talk about. At least not that I would talk about. Maybe now, though, that he's found the Crimson Crown.
They did have this neat little tidbit in their conversation in the pathway. They mentioned having an archery contest among their wives.
Oh, gosh, that whole thing.
But I think an archery contest would be the perfect opportunity for Robin Hood to really show his archery skills, Snow White competing with her archery skills, get a fox in there also competing with his archery skills, Disney, Robin Hood, and who else is good with archery that we've seen already? Merida.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're going to see Merida again. And it will be at this archery tournament that will happen.
This is not a prediction that I will support. However, I think we will see her again.
It would be fun. That is very sorry, I can't think of it. That is very significant in the Brave movie. The archery kind of, not tournament, but yeah, it was a tournament actually over her hand in marriage. So.
And very similar archery tournament in the Robin Hood story. So it would be an excellent way of bringing these archery characters together. And yeah, why not see them have a tournament with each other?
What is it about the animated Robin Hood movie that if anybody even mentions it, I instantly am at risk for having at least one song from it stuck in my head, possibly for days.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I couldn't remember a song, but I used to watch it a lot. So.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that one. But thanks for that.
Come on, sing
Careful,
along.
you're
No.
almost at the fair use limit.
Yeah. The fairy use limit.
Fairy use limit.
But I noticed something really kind of creepy with the eternal flame, that I'm going to call it that.
The hand?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're not holding the handle. You're holding sort of like, what do you call that arm in the forearm, or that bone in the forearm?
I don't know.
Don't do medicine on a podcast is what we learned. But yeah, he's basically holding onto an arm that is holding the torch.
And it does make me wonder, is that actually someone's arm?
Nah.
It's just a Halloween decoration, because it would be a great Halloween decoration.
They probably picked it up at a Halloween decoration store.
Halloween is coming up, and I'm going to announce it here again. I just decided this. Let's have another Halloween costume contest for Once Upon a Time. We did this back in season 1.
Right, it was amazing.
And there were some amazing entries. So I just now decided, and because we have donations and stuff now for the podcast, we can award more than a simple $10 Amazon gift card. So maybe we can do something. I'll have to look at the budget, but maybe we can do something like send you the season on DVD or Blu-ray, one of the missing seasons if you don't have one, or some kind of Once Upon a Time.
There's a missing season of Once Upon a Time?
Yeah, it's called Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. But maybe we'll send you something cool. So here's what we'll do. This will take me a couple days to set up, but go to oncepodcast.com/contest. That might not work the very moment you're hearing this in the podcast, but I'll make it work as soon as possible. That's where you can go to submit a photo of yourself in your Halloween costume that is Once Upon a Time themed. We'll gather all of these, submit it by November 1st. And then in that first week of November, for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, we'll have a voting period where people can vote. Just vote only once. You don't have to do this vote every day kind of thing. Vote on the best Once Upon a Time costume, and we will award the winner with some really cool Once Upon a Time swag. It could be a t-shirt, because, hey, by the way, t-shirts, I mentioned the t-shirts, they're on sale right now, October 14th through 16th. That's Wednesday through Thursday. They're on sale. Go to oncepodcast.com/t-shirts. You can always go there and check out the awesome t-shirts that are there, but go there because they're on sale too. So maybe we'll send you a free t-shirt, but whatever the case, get ready with that Once Upon a Time costume. And this all ties back to that torch. I want to see someone make that torch as part of their Once Upon a Time costume.
Doc,
because that looks like a Halloween thing.
Doc already said in the chat room that he's going to go dressed as that torch. So
as the torch.
As the torch. As the arm holding the torch.
So that'll be at oncepodcast.com/contest. And because it will involve, well, let's do this. It's open internationally. I know we have an international audience. So if you are in a different country, then it might change the value of what we're able to give as an award. But this will be open to everyone where it's legal.
It might just be a virtual hug.
Where it's not prohibited. I'll put it that way. oncepodcast.com/contest. Watch for that very soon.
Watch for small printy rules.
Like that you can't wear last year's Halloween costume?
Oh,
that's a good question. The rules will be at oncepodcast.com/contest. Okay, we'll put it that. The one rule I know I'll have to make is if you won the contest before, as great as that costume was, you can't be entered again. So not even the same person again, maybe.
But what if they do a whole different costume?
That's true.
They could be on a streak.
Check the site. Contest rules will be there. We'll figure it out later.
Okay.
I thought that during this whole quest thing, they also made some great speeches to each other, both on the walk to their quest and then right after the quest when they didn't succeed. But what bothered me is rewatching this episode and realizing that all of these great speeches were based on a throne of lies, Arthur.
Well, okay. So rewatching, and especially later when he was talking to Guinevere, I feel like my frame of reference has changed a little bit, especially in the past I'm not going to address the Storybrooke part yet, but in the past, I think that he's not even necessarily being evil. He's putting his kingdom first, but in kind of what I would consider a dishonorable and not super wise way. They're all lying to each other, honestly. Honestly, because David's not being honest either. And Arthur knows part of that, but he doesn't know all of it yet. Because even when they kind of came clean about... What did they come clean about?
About Regina being the evil queen.
Yes. Because even when they came clean about Regina being the evil queen, they still keep up the pretense of, oh, she's the savior, and they don't say anything about the Dark One. So really, you could watch the show from an entirely different perspective. And maybe if we knew what Arthur was up to, and we were having bits of the Storybrooke people's true motives revealed to us bit by bit behind the scenes, we would think they were the villains.
Is that kind of implying that Merlin could be a villain? Because he's the one sabotaging them, freeing Merlin.
I don't think he's a villain. I think he's a victim of something that Arthur might have been doing, or Morgana, or someone, because what the apprentice said is that Merlin battled the darkness, and everything we know about Merlin and the apprentice seem to be consistent with good guys, not bad guys.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Merlin definitely is a good guy. Arthur, not so much.
See, if they had left the reveal about Arthur until next week, I would have been probably like 90% on board with him being good. But then they pulled this, and now I know that he's maybe not, or he at least has questionable intentions.
So I don't know much about Arthurian legend. So this Morgana person that keeps getting thrown around, well, not literally. Is there room in any of this lore for her to actually be Arthur's daughter?
No, not in Arthurian legend, but in Once Upon a Time mythology, yes. Any kind of relationships possible in Once Upon a Time.
Because that would give an interesting parallel, again, between Arthur and David. So they both have daughters with some kind of an evil side that maybe they're protecting. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why Arthur wouldn't want Merlin out of tree form.
What if it's Morgana in tree form? And she was put there by Merlin.
Oh, well then where's Merlin?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what everyone would like to know. Well, was asking before. Maybe they're barking up the wrong tree. This episode's full of puns tonight.
Wow.
The title card was definitely different in this episode, and it was based on these trees from the swamp or bog. And I can't remember any other episode where they've changed the title card that drastically. It's always been the same forest. Yes, there was an episode where it was frozen, and they've always had different things in the background and sometimes changed the background of it. But I don't remember them ever changing what was actually there.
I still didn't look at it.
So it makes me question certain things about what we see in this episode. Yes, because the title card was different. It might be one of those things like, it might be one of those things like, and I don't think this is really much of a spoiler, but Star Trek Enterprise had this 4-episode or so mini-series inside of the 4-season TV series. And these 4 episodes were like alternate universe.
Yeah.
Star Trek. And the intro was completely different to reflect that.
I forgot
like
about that.
Instead of showing the Enterprise going and saving people, it showed the Enterprise going and blowing up people. And instead of it being white text on a black background, it was black text on a white background or something like that. Certain things were reversed and completely different, including in the title sequence, giving you the impression that, yes, this is a completely different thing, different universe, different parallels and everything. Villains are different, heroes are different, and all of that kind of stuff. Here in Once Upon a Time, we're seeing that Arthur, whom we thought was maybe a hero, seems to be a villain, and they used a different title card. I'm not saying this really adds up necessarily and that they're hiding something here just by changing the title card, but it does stand out to me.
I think that if they were trying to hint at something, they were 100% relying on you, Daniel, to because I actually studied the title card on pause and did not even notice. Like, I was like, what is it? It's just a forest. They didn't even have like a person in it or anything. So
that's funny.
I don't study them that often, only when they're obvious, but
it's probably the designer in me that notices some of that stuff. But I know several of the people who were watching it live with us and hanging out in the chat room when we watched the show live did notice it as well.
Well, I guess I should have watched live instead of having Thanksgiving.
When David was going out across the bridge, did anyone else think, don't follow the lights?
Yes, I wanted you to speak in that voice.
And what is it with David having fights underwater with magical creatures that are supposed to be protecting and guarding something? This is at least the second time, if not the third. I think he needs to just stay away from enchanted water.
Yeah.
In general.
The scene actually made me think of Harry Potter. I don't know the reference that you're referring to, though. So,
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I'll put that on the list.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, Harry Potter. I remember that one too. Yeah.
It reminded me of Harry Potter.
Well, water is often associated with magic in certain ways and magical creatures living in the water. When you look at there are legends all over the world of weird, magical, mystical creatures living in the sea.
Yes, but this was armor. It's not usually known for living under the water.
Phantom Knights, as they were called.
Do you think there should have been more mist in this scene?
Mist?
Well, first they look out across the bridge at the toadstool, and then as David starts out across, Arthur says, "Let the torch be your beacon back." And then I was kind of like, well, also maybe just follow the bridge and, kind of look over across like you did when you went over the first time.
I think visually they were at a little bit of a limitation that they couldn't very easily show how far this was probably supposed to be.
Maybe.
And it's not like David is a Shilan monk that can just run across water like one of them recently did, essentially recently on a floating bridge.
Okay. And it also bugged me how long it took Arthur to get out onto the bridge to help him. Maybe he thought it would collapse, but they didn't even show him. Like on the edge, if you could see the other side. It didn't even look like he was standing there.
I thought he had left. Peaced out.
He said, that doesn't look like it's going to end well. I'm going to get a head start back. But no.
There were multiple moments when he could have taken the toadstool as well.
Oh, you think so, huh?
I think one of those moments could have been either when he was helping David out of the water, or when he was up there on the bridge while David was underwater, because it did look like he just stood there and then he bent over and reached down.
Wow.
So it was almost like someone standing over someone else that's drowning and just like, nope.
Priority 1, mushroom. Priority 2, that David guy.
So this manly bonding helps ensure David's place around the round table, which I think that is really cool. I like that he's a knight of the round table.
It's cool, but you know what? It's not cool.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's a scam.
Yeah, it's a throne of lies.
Because even though I don't think Arthur is supposed to be playing evil, if I didn't think that he was just playing David, giving him the Siege Perilous kind of shows, since earlier he stated that no one would ever take that seat again. And now he's just like, we had one quest together and you almost died. You're my best friend. You get to sit in this seat. I mean, he doesn't even let him be at the round table for a while and get to know him before he's like, you know what? Move on up to the big chair. Big guy. No, he just go right there. And yeah, I think it's all part of his plot to play David in some way, but we don't know exactly what that is yet.
These were probably some of the other knights of the round table that were here at the knighting ceremony, and that they were there makes me think that there probably aren't any other significant knights of the round table that we're going to meet. It's just this group of people that, nameless, faceless for the most part, they might be representatives of kingdoms that we know, but we might not get to meet any of the others.
I guess, but it seems very disappointing to me if we see the round table and we never see the knights of the round table. That seems like it should be filled for at least one scene.
But we do get to see Lancelot again.
Yay.
Do you think that he really does Lance a lot?
He might have. Maybe that's the long story to how he's still alive.
Oh.
But he said something that I wonder if maybe we should take more literally than he was saying, and that the show makes us think. He said that Arthur is the villain and Camelot is not what it seems.
Is it not really Camelot?
What if Camelot is not the kingdom? What if Camelot is a person?
No, maybe it's a camel.
Think about this, though. Throughout this episode, Arthur has been saying things like, for Camelot. And make this sacrifice for Camelot. But yes, he has also said, for my kingdom comes before my own things. But it does make me wonder, this could be a little once upon a time twist, that all this time we're thinking Camelot is the kingdom. But when Arthur also says later on in the episode in Storybrooke that they're going to build a new Camelot in Storybrooke, what if they're not talking about a kingdom, but about something else or someone else?
I think that's a stretch.
It could be. Yes, I know. It could be. But it could also be really interesting. We got feedback, voice feedback, so I wasn't able to quite cut it up in a way that does it justice. But Katie suggested that maybe Arthur isn't really Arthur.
Man, maybe nothing is what it seems. Maybe no one's what they seem. Maybe Regina is really Princess Toadstool. I'm just kidding. Let's hear the feedback.
No, I just said.
I wanted more. I wanted something to back that up. No, I think I don't think it's that complicated, honestly. I could be wrong. I think I've said that before about other plots, and it's ended up that I was wrong. But there's always a certain simplicity to the plots, I think. But there's also kind of an ambiguity,
and there's a surprise,
and
a surprise twist. Sometimes that twist is complicated. Sometimes it's simple.
Are you suggesting that the guy that they are interacting with right now in this past present is not Arthur, or that character never was Arthur?
Either. Like, well,
did take Excalibur.
Right. He did take Excalibur. And actually, Philip sent this great piece of feedback here. It's not specifically about Arthur, but this does give a little bit of thought to some other theories and maybe Guinevere being a villain. Philip said, unless Arthur used enchanted gloves to trick the sword into releasing itself from the stone, I believe that a marked change has happened within him in the time since that happened. Lancelot was by his side when Excalibur was removed. So we know it must have been a while ago, but most importantly, before Guinevere and Lancelot got jiggy with it.
Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry. I just realized I've read this feedback several times. And I just realized now what that meant. So let's do a little edit there and this. But most importantly, before Guinevere and Lancelot. This leads me to suspect that Guinevere is the true villain in this scenario. She is almost always with him, that's Arthur, when he is revealing the more nefarious side of his character. What if she is Morgana in disguise, bewitching him to do her bidding and keeping Merlin out of the picture? As much as I would like to see a non-female villain for once, I can't help but suspect her. So maybe Arthur's not who he says he is. Like maybe it's sort of like the Lancelot Cora thing where Cora was disguised as Lancelot. Maybe someone else is disguised as Arthur right now. Or maybe, to Philip's theory here, maybe Guinevere is the villain here and Guinevere is actually Morgana and she's pulling the strings. Do think about this, giving a little more support here to Philip. Guinevere has been the one that's expressed more concern about the sword, especially when they were in Storybrooke.
Maybe Guinevere is Cora and everything else is a projection in a book that Cora convinced Henry to write.
I was going to ask if we've considered where Arthur may lay in the family tree of Once Upon a Time.
Oh, dear.
Everybody has to be related.
Oh, my gosh, you're right.
Who has a secret brother? I bet you it's Robin Hood. It's got to be.
He does have a peasanty background.
Shepherd.
It could be anybody.
Boom.
Well, you know, there are heroes that are true heroes, and I would like to thank some of our heroes for this episode of the podcast. David Newland, Steve Johnson, Lisa Slack, and Lisa Rutledge, our new hero on Patreon. Thank you very much for your kind support. We could not do this podcast without you. It'd be like trying to rule the kingdom without Excalibur. It just can't happen. Thank you very much for supporting the podcast, keeping the podcast running. We have 27 backers on Patreon right now, and you can support the podcast too for as little as $1 a month, or as much as however much, or for as much as you'd like to give on a monthly basis. But that's a great way to support us. And please go to oncepodcast.com/hero to be a hero for the podcast and keep it going. That's oncepodcast.com/hero. And thank you, David, Steve, Lisa, and our 27 Patreon backers for your kind support. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you. Another way that you can support the podcast, as I mentioned earlier, is go to oncepodcast.com/t-shirts. Great designs. We've picked out what I think are some of the best Once Upon a Time designs that are on the site over there. These aren't our own designs, but we've curated some of the great designs there. And you can get Rumpelstiltskin on a t-shirt. You could get Emma on a t-shirt, or Hook on a t-shirt, or anything cool like that. And these are great t-shirts too. And they're on a great sale right now, just for a few days. Go to oncepodcast.com/t-shirts to check that out. And all of these links will be in the show notes as well as on the website, oncepodcast.com. Let's move on to the present. Whistling while we work and get there. Aaron, you're really the only person who has something to say here.
How many times have you heard that in your life?
I was just wondering why it was Happy's axe. Is it because it was the one that was laying there, or is there something specific about Happy's axe? Michael Coleman is getting a lot more lines this season, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah. I'm thinking it was simply because it was there.
Yeah, I'm just now realizing something. What? Emma gave that really creepy whispered, if your name is on something, hold on to it And I thought she was totally going to control him and make him do something. But no, she just needed one of the dwarf axes, and she didn't even get to swing it before her head rumple stopped her. And was kind of like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Well, even then, when she did swing it at him, the axe broke. And there's nothing stronger than a dwarf's pickaxe, the diamond cutting pickaxes. Remember Snow White's speech to that guy? That's probably why
Dark
Emma wanted
Snow.
this. Yeah.
I do find, though, that when they say nothing stronger and, greatest potential and things like that, that it's not really the truth. Because obviously Excalibur's hold is stronger than the pickaxe.
Yeah.
It was kind of an empty threat, though, to reference his name being on it.
It could also be simply the irony of it, because here Emma's dark and doesn't seem to be happy, and she's picking up Happy's pickaxe. Or maybe they just decided, no, it's Happy's turn to get picked on. We've picked on the other dwarves. Grumpy gets a lot of airtime. Dopey got to be turned into a tree and make oxygen. And Sneezy had all kinds of things done to him. So now it's Happy's turn.
Sneezy uses all the oxygen.
But back at the sheriff's office, I was reminded of a couple seasons ago, the dwarfs being upset, saying nobody steals from a dwarf. And then all the dwarfs start listing, except for the evil queen, except for this, except for that. Now they can add, except for the savior, who's now the dark one.
Oh, gosh.
To their
and
list.
Your daughter.
I was going to say, just Charming's kid to them now.
I love how concerned Snow was that they were going to hurt Emma. And then they realized, oh, actually, they can't hurt Emma. She's the dark one. I don't like this dwarf situation. It's just an ongoing battle, I guess. They were on her side, and then now they're being dumb again.
They're being pretty small-minded.
Yeah. Like, what have they been through with her? And then now that her kid is the dark one, it's like that seems to be, the worst thing that could happen, which, I mean, it probably is, but they don't have to act like it.
One, remember, they were the ones who wanted to leave the town. Since Emma, who was the savior, is now the dark one, they're terrified. Because it's, what would you do if the person you respected the most and who did all of these great things for you, it suddenly turns out that they're sitting on a throne of lies or that they are now the villain, even though they did all these great things, they're now the most powerful villain. I think in some way they're being reasonable, but also forgetting the relationship here.
Yes. So is it the dwarves forgetting the relationship or the writers?
I think the dwarves.
Okay. Will they remember? Will they come through in the end, or will they just run around complaining more than usual until it's all over?
Tune in next time.
David and Snow seem like they're getting more time this season to be them, to actually have something to do that seems Charming's like. And actually be characters who do more than stand in the background and say, we'll support you, whatever you decide. And cool, but they're actually doing something. Different things. David looked particularly pleased later on when Snow said, you did it. He realized, I did do something since I woke you up.
Well, yeah, because this episode, you look at in the past storyline 6 weeks ago, he wanted to go on this quest because he couldn't just stand around, and he knew a quest. I can go on a quest, this noble quest and all of this great stuff. And then here, there are always parallels in the past and present with the way that they do the storytelling on Once Upon a Time. Here in Storybrooke, he can't do anything, and he does finally get that opportunity to do something.
Yeah, but he doesn't remember failing before.
Right.
Or seeming to fail.
Right.
And I have to say, from a production standpoint, I found the photo he looked at of himself and Emma on the bulletin board hilarious, because he's literally wearing the same shirts in the photo as he's wearing in the current scene. and he's never really dressed that way before. So
He
not
has dressed that way a couple times.
a little bit, but usually his shirt's like more buttoned and stuff. And he, back when that photo was supposed to have been taken, he basically wore all plaid. So it just looked like they had taken that photo about an hour previous.
Okay.
I was a little bit more distracted by the missing person paper above that. That was from Melissa Liu, who went missing on June 7th, 2009.
Good grief. I thought, who keeps track of such things?
I do.
I mean, time in Storybrooke before the curse was broken.
I respect that production went and took that photo, even if it was an hour before, because I hate when they use screen caps. Like they use like a screen printout and frame it. It's like there was no camera in Mary Margaret's apartment when her and Emma were having that intense conversation. Like I hate when they do that. So good on them for taking an actual picture.
Or like when a necklace has multiple camera angles.
So Arthur, let's still call him that for now, if he is really that.
Good grief. You know what? Everyone's a projection of the evil blue fairy. How about that one?
But he comes telling this sob story about his reliquary and mentions the magic bean. The reliquary? Okay. Let me try that again.
I decided earlier that I was not going to try and say that word at all.
It sounded good.
It's not reliquary.
It's not. I thought it was. I can't see. Like I thought earlier I could say it, and I don't usually get. Oh my gosh, there it is. What in the world did you just do?
Dictionary.com. It is a real word. Okay, wait, sorry.
Where are we?
I'm not mean.
Still books from Camelot.
Oh, okay.
This is my last thing to say on this scene. So Arthur, and I'm going to still call him that until we know for certain otherwise, but he comes in with this sob story about his reliquary and that there's this missing bean. Rewatching this episode, then remember then when he's talking about this, there is no bean.
That is no bean.
So this whole thing is really about getting David's trust. And what can he do with that then? Is he wanting David to think there is a way back? How does Arthur even know about the magic beans?
Yeah, I was confused about that when I realized there was no bean, because he could have just said my stuff got stolen. Like it doesn't have to be a bean. David would have still helped him. But
the bean makes David want to help even more, because David is probably also interested in returning home on good terms.
Perhaps. But I mean, they've been in Storybrooke for a long time with that option, and that's not something they seem to be seriously pursuing. I don't know. I feel like Arthur could have totally set himself up for them knowing that he's messing with them, because they did find the toadstool. And then they also have the book saying that they were looking for it. So if somebody, puts on their detective cap and is like, oh, we were looking for this in Camelot, but he had it and he didn't give it to us. So why wouldn't he give it to us if he had it in Camelot?
Did you get the feeling that Arthur didn't realize he needed the toadstool for anything anymore? Because they've forgotten that whole time period.
Yeah.
Right. And I do have some more thoughts on that later on. But maybe this whole thing about, hey, can you help us find this? And oh, by the way, there's a magic bean too. And blah, blah, blah. Maybe that was all really not only to get David's trust, but intended to get David to discover the mushroom toadstool.
There were some subtle things in the scene opening the box that I didn't notice before, because I wasn't looking at it through the lens of knowing what they were up to. But as David bends down to look in the box, Griff kind of looks at Arthur a little bit they've got something going on. And then Arthur when David put Griff on the spot saying, what are your theories? He starts trying to make something up and it wasn't going well, but this isn't how I saw it the first time, but realizing this time it was I knew it was awkward before, but I thought he was just kind of dumb. but this time I could tell he was nervous, and Arthur just interrupts him and kind of puts an end to the whole thing, because apparently Arthur, the noble king, is a better liar than any of his subjects.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I noticed a lot of stuff like that the second time in this particular context than the first, but I think it's just because we're not watching with such a critical eye the first time through.
Right.
And while all of this is happening, Emma is trying the dwarf pickaxe, which, doesn't work. But that's where...
Have you thought about kissing it out?
It did look like... I wish they kept the camera on Bobby Carlyle just another second longer, because it looked like he was actually in the process of making a kissing gesture toward the sword, or maybe even toward Emma. I don't know. But I just wanted to see one more second there. But it is a good point. Maybe there's simply someone Emma needs to kiss, or maybe it's Henry needs to kiss Violet. I don't know.
Violet, what?
Remember the girl?
Oh, that girl. See, quite forgettable.
Maybe Henry needs to kiss Morgana.
That's disgusting.
Oh my.
But we don't know if Morgana is an adult.
Well,
she could be a child. Are you my mommy?
Oh, that's right. There was the Violet Morgana theory.
Yeah.
I listened a lot more attentively to this scene the second time through because I don't know, because I realized what they were talking about because of having seen the end already. And he said that they needed a hero to snuff out the light in Emma, and then told her to go get the hero that they needed, and that they both knew who that was. And then when I realized they were talking about gold, I was like, just no, this is not acceptable. He is the opposite of a hero. And I don't care what explanation they gave at the end. Just no.
Well, here's a theory from Nate G on this. He said, before Rumple became the Dark One, he was an empty slate because he was cowardly. He did neither good nor evil things. He just did nothing. Maybe Emma is trying to make him a hero so he can pull the sword and then revert back to his cowardliness and give the sword to Emma.
That sounds like something they might have somebody say in the show to explain things. However, cowards also do good and bad things, and Rumple definitely did. So even if that's the explanation, I'm not buying it.
Well, and even what Hook said later in the boat, that it wasn't Rumple who was a villain. Like he painted him to be a hero in that scene when Rumple was just fighting for his family to stay together. That's not a cowardly thing to do. Even if he did it afraid, it was still a brave thing to do.
Right. Now, we had, it's not the first mention of it, but we have in this scene, we have it mentioned, or we have it stated rather, what is the ambiguous goal of this particular story arc. Right now, it's snuff out the light. It's usually cast insert curse name here, but right now it's snuff out the light. What in the world does that mean? What does it accomplish? Like, is that still up for debate? Do you think the end is already written? Do we know what that looks like, or how much success do you predict will be achieved before the Dark One is thwarted?
I feel like that's like what he was talking about at the end of the last episode, his big monologue about family always keeping you a little bit in the light. So I think snuff out the light could either mean snuffing out all the loved ones in your life, which would be kind of depressing. Or it could just mean that that Emma would reach a part, like a level of darkness where that pull is no longer existent.
So is it all the light anywhere, or all the light in Emma, or all the light in Emma's life that's calling her back? And to what end? Is that so that the darkness can consume everything, as the apprentice somewhat described briefly before Merlin tethered the darkness?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I just find it ambiguous.
Let's listen to, again, what it was Rumpel said in the last episode.
As long as the Dark Ones existed, one thing has always held us back. The pull of the family we were so desperate to protect. The friendships that make it impossible to forget who we used to be. The magic that threatens to undo our most evil deeds. And, worst of all, the love that refuses to give up on us. No matter how hard we try, we can't escape the reach of the light. But, Emma Swan, you can change that. That's why you brought that sword here. You can do what no Dark One before you has ever done. You can make that weapon whole again and use it to snuff out the light. Whatever.
So it does make me think the Dark One wants to snuff out all light for forever.
Yeah. Do you think that it's...
Sounds like a good existence for it.
Do you think that it's like gradually snuffing out Emma's lights based on maybe the ingredients or the objects that are needed for the process? Like, it seems like she kind of burned her bridge with Hook in this episode to get that sword. She looked pretty heartbroken. He maybe not as much, but she may not think that he loves her anymore, and thus then his pull, like that pull that Rumpel was talking about, the pull of your love that's not giving up on you, she may not believe that exists anymore, and so then that's one tie that's severed already.
Maybe. Because, and let's talk about this now, what if we are misjudging Emma? What if when she asked Hook to trust her, remember, how many times did she say something about trust me? I need you to trust me. Do I have your trust?
As she was stealing the sword from him.
Well, okay.
Promising that all she needed was his trust.
But what if that's true? What if Emma is playing the Dark One here? And Emma has a plan, and that's maybe part of why they're here, is because Emma has a plan and she needs no one else to know about it. And she is genuinely asking for trust. Jessica Olsen sent in this feedback saying, I think that Emma intended on trying to smooth things over with Hook, but ended up getting information she needed to heal Rumpel. She seemed to change to meet him. So I really don't think that was her intention to begin with. I don't think she had a motive other than to try to get Hook to want to be with her. If my theory is right and Emma really isn't all evil, it's really not good that Hook essentially just told her that he doesn't love her now. What good does it do? She said that all she needed from Hook was his trust, and he wouldn't give it to her. It seems like a good place to start with when trying to get the old Emma back would be to not push her away, which is all he seems to be doing. I don't see him really trying to do anything other than being grumpy that she, quote, isn't the same, unquote. And that kind of bothers me.
Being grumpy.
She still hasn't done anything to hurt anyone in Storybrooke that we've seen, other than Sleepy. But maybe Emma knew that Regina could undo that spell. But he's treating her like she is worse than Regina ever was, which doesn't make sense to me. Great feedback, Jessica. So what if Emma has a plan?
In Hook's defense, which I never thought I'd say those words, the woman he loves is claiming to have fully embraced the most evil being in existence, which he knows is technically inside of her, so it might be a little tough to deal with. I can, I almost said I can relate. No, I can't relate, but I can understand how you might have a hard time dealing with that.
Why is nobody else thinking that perhaps because Emma was already 100% good, the darkness might not have the same effect on her? Why is nobody there thinking that? Why are just we thinking that?
Well,
Because we're all smarter than the characters in the TV show.
And I also wonder if Emma was secretly plotting, which I really like that idea, but would she be able to keep that part of her mind separate from the part of her mind that's taken over from the Dark One to actually keep it a secret from the Dark One? Remember when
right.
Rumple was crazy because he had two voices in his head? Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and Emma does have two voices in her head. She has her own voice, basically, and then she has this Dark One voice.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't have any response to that other than to agree.
Okay, so Aaron disappeared from Blab, and I had the brilliant idea to refresh. And as I hit the button, I went, "Oh, now I'm gone too."
Yeah, well, I don't see Erin anymore, but we hear her, so she's still connected. That's
fine.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, as long as.
And I'm still a host, so
Well played, Doc. Well played. That's funny.
Where did Doc say?
Well, I said, "Where did Aaron go?" And he goes, "Canada." And then when I disappeared, he said, "Aw, Canada got Jeremy."
I didn't know I disappeared. I was so confused.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Just before the little date with Hook and Emma, or attempted date, we got a little piece of information that I think answers one question I've had for a while, and maybe several others have had. Is Zelina truly pregnant? I think that this picture, the sonogram, does indicate that yes, she is truly pregnant. Especially when you look at her behavior, this doesn't seem like the behavior of a woman who knows she's not pregnant.
Oh, she definitely knows. I definitely believe her now.
Right.
I mean, she's way too excited to have a little impressionable person that she can control completely.
And that can love her and serve her and worship
only her.
And she'll not leave the baby in the middle of the woods and let a tornado come and take the baby away.
And should that poor child ever love another, I see green twisters in its future.
Does anybody else think that it's maybe a bad idea to plot to steal / break into the Dark One's house?
I've heard of worse plans from these people.
Touche.
But yes.
Well, maybe Will Scarlet will help them, and we'll get to just call him back from Forgotten Character Island.
Yeah. Oh, Will, we need you back.
See, I think we can easily forget that Will was ever there. And we can just imagine him back at the end of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, where he belongs.
No. Do you know who can't forget that Will was there?
Who?
Anybody who watched Once Upon a Time in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Well, that was,
Which we hope is all of you out there.
If he comes back,
Yes.
it better be with his true love.
Yes. ABC, I know you have people listening. We want Once Upon a Time in Wonderland on Blu-ray. And we would like a soundtrack, and we would like an explanation for what happened last year with Will Scarlet. Please and thank you.
Totally.
And by explanation, we want an explanation as to why everything is still okay.
But you know what ABC did give us that I think all boys everywhere have wanted to see happen is a joust between someone on a horse and someone in a pickup truck.
With a 2x4.
Someone on a Ford.
No, 2x4 and a Ford now.
Yeah.
That reminded me of medieval times. Do you guys have that there?
You were there?
No, medieval times is a place. It's a place in Toronto where you go and you can dress up or you can just not dress up, and you like get served like a medieval meal, and then you watch like those night battles where there's the long stick and the horse and they ride full speed, and then one of the knights is always evil, and
wow,
they throw flowers into the crowd at the girls.
Are there kings and queens?
I don't really. It's been a long time.
There
it's
is something like that.
School trip.
There is something like that in the greater Cincinnati area. I know a lot of places have them. They're called different things, like either Medieval City or Peasantville, or different. Can't remember the name of the one in Cincinnati. But whatever names they go by, I know some places have them. And yeah, they're fun for the tourists. I've been to one that was a tiny kind of makeshift sort of thing where it was really just an arts and crafts show. But everyone there was pretending they were from medieval times, even though they were selling things for actual dollars and cents. But it wasn't all that entertaining, especially
like a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, Renaissance Fair. That's what.
Yeah, but
there's
it's
a place
not permanent.
around here.
You know,
No, this
it's
is like a whole
once a year.
Yeah, this is a permanent thing, and it's actually quite expensive to go to.
Yeah. Well, I want to see them drive a pickup truck in one of those.
We're just peasants. We can't afford all that.
So what's the new sword in a Ford? What's the
2x4 in a Ford?
That doesn't have the same ring.
Joust in a Ford?
Nah.
Joust on a Ford?
I loved the Doctoberfest Chalice of Vengeance. Board on a Ford.
Great.
Manic Prime in our chat room mentioned that. Board in a Ford. I like that.
Oh, board in a, yeah.
So they discover that this guy stole the stuff, blah, blah, blah. All of this thing. Yeah, sure. But here are a couple things that stood out to me. One, the toadstool is there.
Yeah.
So does it mean that they never used it in Camelot?
I would say yes. That's what that should mean.
It could, unless you just hold it and say words and then it works.
Yeah, unless you can use it again.
Well, and also think about this. If Arthur placed the toadstool there,
under the edge of the tent.
Yeah, for David to discover.
I think he just tossed it aside like, why would I get in there?
Which it kind of seems like he did place it there. Then maybe he knows more than he's letting on. Because if he knows that there's a reason to place it there, the only way he could know that is because he would remember from Camelot that David was seeking that.
Oh, yeah.
So what if Arthur,
but did he,
quote, Arthur, unquote, is really playing everybody?
But did he know that David knew that he was seeking it in Camelot? Was Arthur privy to the information that they had discovered Regina's giant question mark in the book?
Yeah, I feel like that was maybe unintentional that the toadstool was there.
Arthur did come in when they were looking at the book, so he could have seen the book and seen the question mark and realized, they're looking for that. If I can help them find it, maybe that'll also help me get in better graces with them.
I'm going to go out on a limb because trees and say that he doesn't remember the last 6 weeks. But he is a very good liar.
He is a very good liar.
And apparently he's the primary target for the rabbit hole, which has a random sign out there in the middle of a field.
Yes, well, because clearly that's a main road into town. So you would want a billboard for people who, when passing through, can't even see the town, so that they'll stop at the rabbit hole.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, yes, I zoomed in on this. During the car chasing scene, there's a billboard and I zoomed in and it's for the rabbit hole and it's an arrow pointing. So it is right next to a building. That building is not the rabbit hole, or maybe it was the former rabbit hole, but there's an arrow pointing presumably toward town because the rabbit hole is actually in near the middle of town. And the rabbit hole is the bar where we've seen Lacey hanging out and other characters
Girls'
like
night.
that.
Nearby, we saw Rumpelstiltskin beat someone up. It's really a bad part of town. The rabbit hole.
A fury hole. Yeah, actually, you referred to the rabbit hole, and that's what threw me off. Okay.
Oh, what?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So that'll be removed.
Mm.
Moving on. So Griffin is taken to prison, or our version of a dungeon. I think he should have said that. And This is where things start to get a little bit odd. That potion, by the way, the green potion
Mm-hmm.
was in the reliquary. I said it
Mm.
again. That green potion was in the reliquary.
I thought you said it right.
Reliquary. Let me look this up again.
There's some kind of an enchantment on that word that
I did say it correctly.
you did.
Okay.
I thought so.
That green potion that was supposedly Agrabah Viper venom was actually in the reliquary.
And did you notice Griff knew what it was the second he saw it?
Yeah. Well, because he seems to be the keeper of the reliquary.
Yep. Still say it was mixed with squid ink. And why? Okay. Bad things happen in this cell. Okay. So why do they ever leave it unattended? Well, maybe because they at least have a security system with a camera. Again, if this doesn't come up, because the guy just blinked out of existence. So they've got a missing prisoner. So what do? You go look at the security tape. So if this doesn't come up next week, I'm going to be thoroughly frustrated. Just going to put that out there. And why green smoke?
Well,
when people get murdered by visitors to the cell, they tend to turn into green smoke and disappear. So does that mean he traveled through time and became someone else?
Something weird happened because that is not what Agrabah Viper venom does.
No, they did call it a poison this time.
Yeah. I went back to the episode Fruit from the Poisonous Tree. Wait, was that what it was called? I have the name of it. Hold on. Fruit of the... Oh, what was it?
King of Blab. Is that like the King of Town from HomestarRunner.com? I'm the King of Town.
Yeah, it was Fruit of the Poisonous Tree. Okay.
Someone's stolen my poop smith.
Okay, let me say this again.
Okay.
I went back to the episode Fruit of the Poisonous Tree from season 1, which is when we got to meet Agrabah Viper and we got to see it or had to see it.
Such a compelling character, that Agrabah Viper.
Kill King Leopold.
Mm-hmm.
And what it did to him was it gave him these black veins that spread all over his face. And if you're interested, yes, we'll have a screenshot in the show notes at oncepodcast.com/210. But that's what Agrabah Viper venom did.
Yeah, it acted a lot like a snake bite.
Yeah.
Amazingly.
This was something different. And in fact, what would be, I think, more logical for covering up would be if the body was still there and he had the potion with him. And then Arthur could say something like, "Oh, I never knew him to be a coward like this, to take his own life like that."
Yeah, he easily could have swiped the bottle from the chest and then had it with him. And
yeah.
Wow.
So it makes me think that Arthur has a bigger reason.
Too bad they didn't
this.
consult you. That's a great way to do it.
Or the venom killed him, but the green smoke wasn't the venom. The green smoke was, quote, Arthur, unquote, doing something.
So Arthur's Zelena?
not Zelena, but maybe Morgana, maybe someone else, maybe Arthur is Merlin. Actually, I don't know. But there are certain things that have me questioning stuff like that.
I feel like even if they did that, they still could have led it back to Arthur, because they would have, like, David could have looked at the surveillance tape, seen, oh, the green bottle that was just in the chest. Oh, how did he get that? Oh, Arthur must be involved. If he was a real sheriff.
Yeah, right. Not just a scared parent. What I really kind of want to happen is that they do look at the security tape and Arthur's like, whoa, this land's magic is more powerful than I thought. And then he has to come clean about what he's doing, or at least part of it. That's what I want. Or at least they know what they're up against, even if they don't confront him right away.
Because as far as we know, he does not have the magic to alter the security footage.
No.
Nate G suggested that maybe Arthur is an anti-hero, not necessarily a Venom, but as Nate G put it, quote, a leader that thinks he needs to compromise for the greater good, unquote.
A Venom?
Yeah.
Or villain?
Did I say Venom?
He's an anti-venom.
Not necessarily a Venom.
Okay, let me say that again. Okay. Not necessarily a villain, but maybe an anti-hero. Nate G said, quote, a leader that thinks he needs to compromise for the greater good, unquote. Which could certainly fit.
That's
because
what I think.
He does seem like he's trying to do the wrong things for the right reasons. Oh my gosh, where have we heard that before?
Every single character on the entire series.
Correct answer was Merlin.
Oh,
The
right.
The guy in the movie theater.
Right. So maybe, yeah. So this actually occurred to me when we were talking about Emma and her true motives. Maybe she really is playing the Dark One in more ways than one. And she is working on a scheme. And so she's trying to get the sword out for the right reasons, even though she's trying to keep the darkness thinking that it's for the wrong reasons. But still, she has the warning from when she was little. I still think he went back too far because she probably doesn't even remember. She has the warning, though, to not do it, even when she has the chance and even though it's for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Because bad things.
And I'm really interested to see if we know, we can really assume that the sword will be put together and made whole at some point. What kind of bad things will happen? Maybe that will be a total unleash of darkness.
She's going to snuff out the light whether she wants to or not. And that's going to lead to a lot of lit candles in Storybrooke. And they're just going to be like, wow, it's dark.
Or backfire. And
Yeah.
It's not going to snuff out light. It's going to be the opposite.
It's going to be all the lightness.
So Emma does kidnap Rumpelstiltskin. And as soon as he wakes up, you can see kind of the cowardice on him. Or it could also be that he's just like, whoa, Emma, you're a lot different.
Maybe it was just being called nothing. You are nothing. It's just rude.
Emma did say to the Dark One in her brain that she worked hard for the Cutlass.
Head rumple?
Huh?
That's what I call the Dark One in her brain.
My can be removed.
Anyway.
So it does make me think that when she had the date with Hook, she was working the whole time to get that cutlass or to discover it. Not that she was there with the purpose of rebuilding a relationship with Hook, but she was there trying to find something that she needed in order to wake up Rumple.
And this time I saw the look on her face when she took the sword.
Yeah.
Kind of I got it. Or she very carefully made sure she took it when he turned around. And
she was covering up with playing games again.
Right.
I don't know, man. She, like, Dark One Emma is a really good actress if that conversation didn't hurt her at all.
I think it did. Yeah. But I think, okay, so on the other side, if she really isn't pretending, she wants what all the villains want, everything.
Yeah.
She wanted to get the sword from Hook. She also wants his love. And she wants his trust, but she also doesn't want him to know what she's doing. She wants him to trust her, but she wants to also be able to be untrustworthy. So maybe she just wants everything.
It could have been a big setup to say, Hook, I need you to trust me. Would you give me something that belonged to Rumple before he became the Dark One?
That would be more trustworthy for sure.
Yeah. But she's going to turn Rumple into the hero. And what does that mean? Like, how does he become the hero? She said she'll make him into a hero. That makes me think that she's going to release him and maybe allow herself to be defeated by him in some way so that he becomes a hero in Storybrooke, or maybe sets up some fake things that allow him to become a hero.
She'll start small, like a cat in a tree, and he'll rescue it. If he can, hobble up a ladder and not be afraid of that. And, she'll go on from there. And somehow, eventually, he'll be the greatest hero who's ever lived. Somehow. Don't know how that works precisely. But then again, there could be some other magic babble that happens in the next couple weeks that explains precisely how she's going to transform him.
He'll be the purest hero.
The purest hero.
Eye roll.
Yeah.
Then he can sit on the siege Perilous. If it, still exists and stuff.
I do wonder if Rumple recognizes that Emma is seeing a Dark One. And it could be cool if in the next episode, Rumple starts saying, like Mr. Gold Rumple, real Rumple, starts saying to Emma, I know who you're seeing. I know what you're seeing. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to the darkness. Or cool things could happen there.
Bad things.
Katie suggested that maybe Henry could have been the hero that Emma needed. And Alina Harris suggested maybe someone else. Alina said, if Merlin prophesied the Savior saving him, why didn't he tell Arthur the Savior's name? Unless Arthur knows, and Arthur is the reason Merlin is stuck in the tree to begin with. If I remember correctly, in an episode of Charmed, the firstborn child was prophesied to wield Excalibur. Since Emma is the savior and equally powerful, maybe Snow and Charming's son is destined to wield Excalibur. So maybe baby Neil could be the one who's supposed to wield Excalibur.
Baby Neil. I mean, he'll have to wait until he's bigger than Excalibur. Probably. Or they can just hold the baby out at the sword. Put your little hands on it. Come on.
Here's your little pacifier. Sorry it's so big.
Hope they're not wrong. That sword's powerful.
I feel like even Rumple, who had a prophecy about Emma, didn't know her name until Snow and Charming told him her name. So I don't know that Merlin would have all of that information, assuming his prophecy works about the same as Rumple's.
True, but didn't we in season 4 see that Merlin, or the apprentice, gave Ingrid a prophecy that mentioned Emma by name?
I do not recall.
Or did it say the Savior will be your sister? We'll find. Oh, I can't remember now. You know what? Let me just look back really quickly.
Come on, chat room.
Because this would be great to get correct.
This would be
edit point here.
Great to get correct.
What episode was that? Family Business, the Snow Queen. Oh, it's probably the Snow Queen. Let me see.
Oh my gosh, Once Upon a Time's flashing before my ears.
I just found a Google link called "Is the Snow Queen's sister David's mom?" on Once Upon a Time.
Oh, I didn't realize you were talking.
I was like, what is that sentence I can understand through all this skipping around? Something weird's happening.
Am I cutting out again?
No, it's just I'm playing. You can't hear it actually, but I'm playing. I'm scrolling through episodes from season 4 trying to find where that prophecy was.
As you do.
Yeah, as I do.
Reviewing Once Upon a Time, looking for prophecy.
Because I really want to get this.
No,
Rose thinks he did say the name.
It's in Family Business. this. And
Family
I'm on a website and it says that the prophecy said the savior, quote, will become Helga. It doesn't say
The savior will. Okay. So let's just.
That's just according to this LA Times article.
Yeah, that's. Let's. LA Times has gotten other stuff wrong.
Oh, yeah,
so let me scroll through this.
Know her name to get her as a foster kid, right?
Right.
Weird.
So I'm sorry, you can't hear this. Well, actually, I can make it so you can hear this. Do you hear this?
It's the only way to force her to tell us.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just making faces. The camera, I'm content.
I am too.
It was in the episode Family Business. Was it near the beginning or near the end?
It doesn't say in the article.
Maybe that's why she was so obsessed with you. Why she kept all those relics from your childhood.
Oh, here it is.
She came to this world looking for blondes. There's a lot more than just me.
I know it.
She wasn't looking for a blonde. She was looking for the savior.
What?
This scroll, the writing is runic. It's a prophecy. It says the name of the savior is Emma.
Yep.
She knew?
Okay.
I just found
So there we go.
that same time.
My goodness, I forgot about all that.
Let's see. Transition back to this.
I
How?
know.
Oh yeah. Let me fix that. Okay. Merlin did know Emma's name because when he passed the prophecy on to Ingrid that the savior would be her sister, the prophecy did say the savior's name would be Emma. So it's not like Merlin didn't know and couldn't have told Arthur, but maybe Merlin intentionally did not tell Arthur.
Maybe? Do you mean Arthur in quotes?
Yes. Quotated Arthur.
Oh gosh, what the crap. Idiot.
Oh.
I'm not a huge fan of the idea that
Jeremy. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Oh dear.
we did.
Trolls ruin the world for themselves.
Gosh.
Okay. Yeah, it banned. Don't worry. I was pressing the wrong thing this whole time to try and ban him. That's why it took so long. Okay.
Oh, I banned him too.
So did I.
Great minds think alike.
Okay. Bring it back on track. I don't have anything else to say about the episode. Do you guys?
Neither do I.
Jeremy,
I don't
you good?
think so.
Okay. Let's wrap this up then. John, for your entertainment, in case you didn't know, someone just totally trolled the chat and posted a bunch of stupid stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Serious face, poker face.
So what did you think about some of the stuff that we've brought up? Do you think Arthur is really who he says he is? Where do you think Morgana, if at all, fits into this? If there are any spoilers, I don't want to know, but you'll get to know if you listen to the spoilers from Hunter and Jacqueline in just a few moments after we end out this episode. But we'd love for you to continue the conversation. There are two places you can do that. One is in the show notes for this episode, oncepodcast.com/210, and also on our forums at oncepodcast.com/forums. It's really easy and free to join. And there you can have conversations about past episodes, about future episodes. There's specific spoiler sections for upcoming episodes. So it's a great place to talk with other Once Upon a Time fans, theorize about things, and continue this conversation. And we'd love to have you part of the community. Please connect with us on Twitter at Once Podcast. And I'm Daniel J. Lewis on Twitter at The Ramen Noodle.
I'm Jeremy Laughlin on Twitter at Phlegon. That's Phlegon.
I'm Erin, and I'm on Twitter at Erin J. Cruz.
I'm going to choose my closing this time before I play the music.
What are
because I forgot to pick which one I want.
What are the options?
Yeah, quick vote here between the hosts. Add a star next, add the star next to the one you.
There was an episode of Welcome to Level 7 where they used all of their ideas, and they kept interrupting the closing and saying, "No, that was stupid," and redoing it.
I think I want the first one.
Oh wait, I don't even see.
Yeah, the first one so far. I'm only halfway through though.
What? Oh. I like all these. I didn't realize it was so quotable.
Or this one.
I don't like the third one. Oh man.
Yeah, either the first one or that one that I starred.
Okay. I don't know yet which one you starred, but it'll take a moment to refresh.
I like the second one.
Oh, that one. Okay.
The second one or the first one?
Let's do the first one.
Second one.
All right.
Whichever.
This podcast would not be possible without our great team of volunteers helping us each week, several times a week, in fact, to keep the podcast going and helping it to go so well. So special thanks to Corbin for sorting our feedback, Jack for writing our show notes, John Buchanan for editing our episodes, Hunter Hathaway and Jacqueline for providing spoilers. You'll hear from them in just a moment. Jacqueline and Matthew Paul moderating the forums, Keb managing our timeline. Go check it out at oncepodcast.com/timeline, and my fellow co-hosts for doing this podcast with me. And until next time, remember, if your name is on something, hold on to it. And thanks for listening. Once Podcast is a proud member of Noodle Mix Network. Find more of our award-winning and award-nominated podcasts to make you think, laugh, and succeed at noodle.mx. Big thanks to our sponsors for this. Big thanks to our heroes for this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to be one of them and keep the podcast going, then please go to oncepodcast.com/hero, and thank you for your support. Okay.
So, is there a more efficient way? I mean, first I had to catch the guy.
I wasn't even in chat until everything went silent, and I had to scroll back to make sure I was still connected.
What? Hold on, just one moment.
Hi, Oncers. I'm Hunter Hathaway.
And I'm Jacqueline.
And it's spoiler time for Once Podcast. So we're at episode 504, Broken Kingdom. After receiving a cryptic warning from Lancelot about Arthur's intentions, Mary Margaret realizes Arthur may be the hero's biggest threat. But when she is unable to convince David of the danger, she takes matters into her own hands. Meanwhile, Hook's unwavering love for Emma provides a glimmer of hope in her struggle against unrelenting voice of Rumpelstiltskin. In a Camelot flashback, Guinevere senses that Arthur is losing his way, consumed by his obsession with making Excalibur whole. So she sets out with Lancelot on her own quest into the heart of darkness. In Storybrooke, Dark Emma unleashes a secret weapon in the next phase of her plan to find the brave soul she needs to draw Excalibur from the stone. This one's written by David H. Goodman and Jerome Schwartz and directed by Arlick Riley.
This is a lot of plot.
It is, for a short episode.
Yeah, it's so basically there are 3 different time streams because we have Camelot of 6 weeks ago, we have Camelot of the far past, and then we have present day Storybrooke.
Yes, lots and lots going on.
It's going to be one of those plot-heavy episodes, I think.
Yes, and we've got quite a few guest stars.
Yeah.
We got Cinqua Walls is back as Lancelot, Amy Manson as Merida, so we get to see her again. Liam Garrigan as King Arthur, Andrew Jenkins as Percival, which is, I guess we're going back just a little bit because didn't he die?
He died, so I'm guessing that he's part of the Camelot of long ago.
Probably. Joanna Metras as Guinevere, Olivia Steele Falconer as Violet, Webb Hayes as young Arthur, Aaron Chasm as young Kay, and Delia Bella as young Guinevere.
Yeah, so we're obviously going back quite a bit if we're going to be seeing young Arthur and young Guinevere.
Yes. So that's exciting.
Yes. Now, we did get a promo.
Mm-hmm.
We got an American one. We still haven't gotten any Canadian promos this year.
I don't like that.
I know.
They always show more different stuff.
But the American promo is very tense and action-packed. It's kind of hard to tell what's really going on. A lot of swords and daggers are sort of flying all over the place. It's going to be one of those episodes where I think people fight. Snow doesn't want to trust King Arthur and wants to hide the dagger. And we do see Arthur holding a sword to Snow and Lancelot, demanding the dagger. And of course, we get a little bit of a glimpse of Rumpel telling Emma to save herself.
Yes. We did get some set photos that were from ABC. They kind of confused me a little. I don't know about you. Unless they all are in Camelot, because we see Snow with a lantern dressed in what looks like the outfit she wears in Camelot in Granny's with David.
Right. So it must be that at some point during their stay in Camelot, they go back to Granny's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it didn't make any sense in my head.
And Lancelot's there too, so.
There are quite a few of Lancelot.
Yes. We also see Rumpel dressed up as the Dark One, so I'm going to guess that's when he's talking with Emma.
I think so, but I also think that that is part of the long distant past. I think Lancelot and Guinevere are in the forest with Rumpel. Mm-hmm. And if you notice in one of the set photos, Guinevere is wearing the gauntlet that we saw in episode 411, Heroes and Villains. And I think what happens is her adventure with Lancelot leads them to meet Rumpel, and he makes a deal for the gauntlet. So
yeah, and the last photo is Lancelot and Guinevere with their swords out, all set to fight.
Right. So I'm assuming they're probably talking to Rumpel.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those episodes where the timeline is going to be quite packed.
Yes.
We also got a sneak peek already. Normally we don't get them quite early enough for Hunter and I to be able to talk about them, but we did get one this week. And this is Camelot of 6 weeks ago. We have Emma. She's making dream catchers. And okay. Yeah, they're hanging all over her window. There's like 4 or 5 of them. And she's being taunted by Rumpel, the Rumpel that's in her head. And it gets very, very intense. She's obviously quite distressed over what he's saying about giving into the darkness. She ends up shooting out a little bit of magic to try and make Rumpel go away and almost hits Hook. And then Hook comes in and tries to calm her down and soothe her. And Emma is obviously still quite in distress.
Looks interesting. I can't wait.
Yeah, the Dreamcatcher thing is going to be interesting because we do know that the episode after this one is called Dreamcatcher. So I'm guessing the Dreamcatchers must play some kind of vital importance here.
Yes. Okay, let's move on. We got some casting news. Not really full-on casting news, though.
Right.
We were teased.
Mm-hmm.
And the producers are currently casting a young version of Hook and his father for a flashback to the pirate's childhood.
Yes, and we will be seeing who his father is, apparently, before winter break.
Okay.
So my guess is somewhere around episode 510 or 511, because we haven't gotten any official casting news yet. So I'm guessing that it's going to be one of the very last episodes of this arc that we see him.
Yes.
We did get a new episode title.
We did. Episode 510.
Yes, this is Broken Heart, and it is written by Dana Horgan and Se Chun. And unlike that we had previously thought, episode 510 is not going to be the winter finale. It originally was going to be a 10-12 split, but I'm not really sure what they've done, because it was very confusing this weekend trying to figure out what episodes are what. But it is going back to the 11-11 split. So episode 511 will be the winter finale, with 512 being the spring premiere and the 100th. And then episode 508 and 509 are going to be shown together in 2 hours.
Because is that right around the November 22nd when there will not be an episode?
It's the one right before. So it's November 11th that's going to air. It's a 2-hour special.
Right, because the next week there is an award show on. So we don't get an episode.
Correct.
It's going to confuse us, and it's going to confuse everyone else, especially with these episode title numbers, because everyone mixes it up when they do a supersized episode, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. We got a little bit of information for what's to come. Not much, of course, because they're never going to actually give us everything. But in an upcoming episode, we will get to see Lancelot and delve deeper into the iconic love triangle between him, Guinevere, and Arthur.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that's going to start being teased this week.
Yeah, well, they did bring it up a little bit last week.
Right, so I think we're going to see Lancelot and Guinevere obviously more this week, and we'll start to learn how Once Upon a Time is going to twist that love story.
Yes.
There will be an adventure with Hook and the Evil Queen in the first half of the season.
That's kind of different for them.
That's very different. I'm not sure where that fits on the timeline because they're calling her the Evil Queen, which suggests a flashback. But Hook and Regina met once before he went off to Wonderland to try and kill Cora. And then, like a day or so after that, she cast the bubble with the staff. So I'm not sure where this fits in the timeline.
Unless they're just calling her Evil Queen instead of Regina.
Yeah, that's possible. I guess we'll go with that because otherwise the timeline just got really weird.
Yes. Speaking of timelines and storylines, Henry's is going to break your heart, and the others are definitely a roller coaster, they said.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Henry falls in love with Violet.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. He's 13. I don't want him falling in love and getting his heart broken at the age of 13.
But if you think about it, technically that's how old Snow White was when she fell in love with her prince in the real storyline.
In the real storyline, when people got married when they were 14 because you were dead by the time you were 25. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I would rather this be a puppy love kind of thing where they just agree to be friends because they're too young or whatever. But I really hope this doesn't turn into some big romantic drama for him. Okay, moving on. The second half of the season will contain a different arc from the first half. And if you've been paying close enough attention, most of us have probably figured out what it is. It's probably going to be Hades and the underworld. We did, of course, have the Fury and Charon from Greek mythology making an appearance 2 episodes ago in episode 502. There have also been some other little hints to Greek mythology, and a lot of us think that we're going to Hades in the second half of the season.
Well, that'd be so different. I like that.
Yeah, so maybe they'll incorporate Hercules. They could possibly incorporate the villain from The Princess and the Frog, the Disney movie from a couple. Dr. Falasier.
Facilite. No, Dr. Facilite. Why can't I say it now? You could ask me any other time and I can say it.
All right, well, everyone knows who we mean. So, yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to be doing the second half of the year.
Yes, that's excellent. Okay, so we know Rumple woke up in this last episode, and Belle is going to be on the search for her, according to Eddie Kitsis. She knows he's been taken. She thinks Emma is behind it and is going to go look for him. Belle gets really strong this year.
Yes, and so far, we don't know if they are going to be using Emily de Raven's pregnancy or not.
Yeah.
Because she did announce on Twitter about a week or so ago that she's pregnant. But we don't know if that means a Rumbell baby or not.
Yeah. Or they actually are pretty good at hiding that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they can hide it. They can, so It might not.
If they decide to not bring it up in the show, you're going to be seeing her with a lot of big jackets and a lot of big bags and holding pillows in front of her.
And she'll be shot from the chest up.
Yes.
And she'll be standing behind a lot of counters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we did get a set photo we want to talk about, and this was around the time that they were shooting episode 509, and it was of Mulan, Ruby, and Merida all together.
So exciting.
They were all wearing their Enchanted Forest clothing, and I'm going to keep saying this, but I think Mulan and Merida are going to be the LGBT couple.
That'd be cute.
And I've decided to call them Brave Warrior until further notice.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to call them.
Okay, very nice. I just like it because it's all three strong women.
Yeah, and they look like they're having fun. So whenever we finally get to see that episode a couple weeks from now, it will hopefully be a good one because those three are great characters.
Yep. So I think that's all we have for you this week, guys. I'm Hunter. You can follow me on Twitter at Bit of Pixie Dust.
I'm Jacqueline, and you can follow me on Twitter at punk_bunny_87.
Until next time, Oncers.